folks are saying it's a little quiet.
Oh, dang, maybe I'm having this. Yeah, okay, hang
Are
on.
you using the correct mic?
No, no, hang on. One sec. Test, test.
There we
This
go.
is Hefe
Better.
speaking.
There we go.
My mic is now working. Okay,
All right.
good. Yeah, that's a lot better, right? Now? Yeah, okay.
Yeah, that
Cool.
sounds like you. You came out from the underneath the pillow.
Awesome. Here, I'll share these notes with you guys. These are the notes for today. It should say April 16th. I always do them the night before, so or the day before. So I posted these during the day yesterday, but I always mess that up. I'll get the hang of it next week, but the date should say the 16th, but it is. These notes are for today. And one more thing. This is the Aavegotchi DAO YouTube channel. So I'll be streaming here all the time now. So if you want to catch your recordings, just head over to Aavegotchi DAO YouTube. You can just set your notifications on. And I got the restream plugged in to Aavegotchi DAO now. So you can make sure you can catch those recordings. I'll also be doing any DAO related calls that we do in the amphitheater. I'll be sure to be there and try and capture those as well for you guys.
Very cool.
Yeah. So little change there, but I think it's a good change. People were saying the meetings weren't always easy to find, or they had to follow specific people. Where yeah, you can follow Aavegotchi DAO now, get all your updates. So there's that, and I guess we should get right into it here. It's 24 people in the audience. GM, everybody. I think I recognize everybody in here. All right. I'll go through our schedule real quick for today, and then we'll get right into proposals. So,
Nice.
sorry, go ahead. Did you want to say something, Coder Dan?
Nope.
Oh yeah.
Nope.
We're doing a proposal review. That'll be like 10 minutes. Then we got Gotchinomics coming up, talking about Gotchi miners and devs going all in. I think Gotchi miners was a big success recently, and I'd like to talk to him about that and see what his plans are. What he's thinking about moving forward. After that, we got a quick little conversation, just a few housekeeping items, just channeling changes, if we're actually thinking about amendments here, or if we're just moving forward with the proposed changes that passed recently. And also ways we might want to just keep an eye on this change to see, is this successful? And then we can do another quick little 5-minute conversation, just some signal proposal inconsistencies I've seen lately. Maybe we just want to make sure we're on the same page with that. 7:40 to 8, we got Thrive Giraffe and Senate coming up with the ThriveCoin team. They've been working hard on a community proposal on behalf of ThriveCoin, and so we'll be going through their signal proposal, maybe doing a little Q&A there. After that, I'll do a DAO Lens walkthrough and a little onboarding session. I'll get an invite link out to you guys. We'll get everybody in the meeting, onboarded to Aavegotchi DAO on DAO Lens. And I'll show you a couple cool features as well as kind of what I'm thinking about the DAO Lens setup for Aavegotchi specifically. So we'll do that, and then that'll take us to 8:20 to 8:40. I'm hoping Immaterial, otherwise known as Mark, could come up and speak on his recent Alchemica spending competition, if you would like to speak to any details or anything regarding that. And then also he has a Aavegotchi Battler concept, which was recently being discussed and is in the early ideation phase, but he's welcome to come up and speak on that. So that's what we got for today. And so I guess we'll get right into it. We only got 2 new proposals this week, and they're both looking good. Just give me a second. All right, here we go. Alchemica Spending Competition Season 2. This is the new proposal put forward by Mark, or Immaterial. Outcome 90% yes, 9% no, 12 million over 9 million. Quorum's already met, but I think there are still a few days left, or 36 minutes left on this proposal. So it's looking good. It looks like we're gonna have season 2 here, and so same details as season 1. New details for season 2, or same details as season 1, are right there. The 80K prize pool funded by the player rewards wallet, 4 1 week rounds, 20K prize pool per round, and then top 50. And so new details. Each round time multipliers will be the same as season 1, round 1. Each round will also have a different token multiplier. So now we're involving all the other tokens too, which is really interesting to see how this is gonna play out compared to, I think FOMO was dominant last time. So this time around, we got week 1's gonna be FUD dominant, week 2 FOMO dominant, week 3 alpha dominant, and week 4 KEK dominant. Off-chain item spending will now be included. So I guess we can clarify with Mark, but I think it's like buying merch and that sort of thing, maybe. Go ahead.
I think it's not just buying, but it could just be buying, but my recommendation would actually be using the item. So people don't just go and buy a bunch of potions and never use them, or buy a bunch of liquidators and never use them. I think the stipulation should be you actually need to use it in the game. Kind of might not be an issue, but it makes a little bit more sense to do it that way.
It does.
Curious what people think, though.
Yeah,
we can support the API either way.
Okay. Yeah, I think we might get Mark up here later, so hopefully make sure we run that by him. Super Proto Liquidator. That's going to be released sometime during the competition, right? I'm kind of looking forward to that.
Yep, we're working on that now.
Awesome. Off-chain item spending will only count once the item is used. Oh, okay. Here you go. He added it in here. So off-chain item spending will only count once the item is used. Some new tiles or decorations will also be released. So I guess we'll be getting some new craftable items in the Gotchiverse. So there's that. Yeah, majority in favor of that one. Aavegotchi sale for Ghost Ship. This one was this is from an OG community member, T-Bird. We've had since early days, and met him at Eat Denver. Awesome guy, and runs a really interesting business where I think Aavegotchi could be involved. And he's willing to swap out one of his recent sales that needs replacement with the Aavegotchi branded sale. And so the funding request is for 7,700 USD, paid for painting Ghost for the sale. So we did a comparison, little advertising comparison to, for example, a billboard, and it is significantly cheaper than a billboard. The life of the sale is around 10 years, could be between 5 and 10 years. And averages between $700 to $1,400 a year in advertising cost, which is like nothing for that sort of exposure. He does 100 to 130 trips a year. There's some details in the proposal regarding, regarding the frequency and the exposure and that sort of thing. So 63% in favor of this proposal, 36% against, 13 million over the 9 million quorum, which has been met. And so this one's looking good. This is a signal proposal. And so if there's any feedback, we can take that into account, but it'll be moving forward to core proposal. These are old proposals. I'm going to just rip through these real quick, just update on the status. Forge request, Forge 2.0 request for funding. It's passed. I guess we're moving to core prop for this one. Were there any edits that needed to be made? Actually, I should probably check the... Yeah, okay, that one did meet quorum. I don't know why I had that in there. Dr. Wagme, would you prefer the request in DAI and not in Ghost if you're going to just sell the Ghost for... Oh, that's T-Bird. No edits, push it to core. So pushing to core... All right. Funding development of Strategachi digital multiplayer version passed. Any edits for that? I think we're just moving to core prop for that one. I don't see. I can confirm with Lagan outside the meeting if he's not in here. Yeah, I'll DM him. But looks like that one's going to be moving to core prop. Reimbursement of the DAO passed. So this is a ghost reimbursement. I believe this is going to be done in chunks. Yeah, this is going to be done in chunks. So I guess this is going to start getting enacted soon if it hasn't already, if the directors know. I see Maxi Crouton in the audience. Is this one kind of in motion now at this point? It looks like 84% were voting for ghost reimbursement. Okay, I'm going to move on to the next one. Liquidity provision, adding the 2.5 million left in a quick swap pool passed. So swap and add liquidity again. Maybe just a treasury update on the status of that. But it should be good to go at this point. It's passed. And then AGIP 74. This one's passed and paid out. So I appreciate that. Thank you all for that. And let's see, AGIP 75. So this one I had a question about. It was the Aavegotchi and Anata collaboration. We did not get the voting differential on this. Let's see if I can show you guys here. So 48% were saying yes, buy 20,000 DAI worth of Anata, and 31% were saying yes, buy 10,000, and then we had 20% saying no. So my assumption here would be this proposal has technically passed as yes for 20,000 DAI, right? Because unless we're looking at the differential between each option, in which case it did not pass.
I'd have to look at the rules, but I think for 3 options, it's 15%, not 20%.
Okay. Well, then there's okay. Well, we should make sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
We should. Oh, dang. Yeah, we should definitely confirm that because. Well, actually, no. In that case, it still did pass because it's 15%. So.
Yeah. It passed by about 17%.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. It met the threshold then. I got a little nervous there for a sec because Maxi Crouton's saying we already got the NFTs. I'm like, oh man, did we just pull what was that recent one that just happened where they did the thing? Collabland, I think it was. No, I could be wrong about that. Anyway, so that one's good. That one did pass.
Do we know where those NFTs or what's going to happen to those after this proposal is passed? Do those get are we going to lend them out to community members, or what happens with those?
That's an excellent question. I see Maxi Crouton saying yes, we have them in the Treasury wallet. But Coder Dan, your question is now moving forward. How are we going to be utilizing these essentially? They are VTuber models, so like anybody who's live streaming could use them. But what I was thinking is it could be an interesting way for us to collaborate. For example, maybe we do a arena battle day with the Anata crew, and we have the Anata NFT up on somebody who's live streaming from Aavegotchi side, and they can have theirs, and they can all be on the same screen. And I think it would make sense in that situation to have matching avatars or similar themed avatars. Dr. Wagme also has an idea here. We might put some in geodes if the community is up for that. Would assign them mythical rarity. So there's another idea there as well.
Yeah, I don't think we really want the directors having to micromanage the avatars. So I don't really know what a good solution for that is. We have them. You just need to get them in people's hands. Make sure that we don't lose them as well.
Will we consider them like a high tier prize, like for something? Avatar custodian. Definitely something to think about. I mean, maybe we can even have a follow-up thread like, hey, we got these Anata NFTs now. Like, what does the DAO want to do with them? Could be another discussion.
Yeah.
But that one's looking good there. And I also believe on the Anata side, they went and bought a similar amount of Aavegotchi. So I'd love to interview them or discuss, talk to them about what they swept or what they're looking to buy. I think it'd be interesting. Okay, so that was the Anata proposal. Create the DAO Treasury dashboard. This has been passed. Are we funding their dashboard now, just giving them the money up front, or is this something that they want? I see Mikey J, you're in the crowd. Do you want the funding up front if you haven't received it already, or is this something you're expecting at the end? Oh, yeah, okay. Specifies payment on core prop pass. Okay, cool. So that'll be done there. Cap the max earnings received from channeling. I don't think this one has, yeah. Let's go back here real quick. Yeah, this one ends in still, so. This is proposal aiming to address the balancing issues of channeling and Aavegotchi's economy by changing the base channeling rate, and it mentions the amounts there. Supposing potential benefits being immediate reduction in emissions, the dev effort for implementation, no negative impact. Potential downside is a reduction in earnings for Gotchi owners, which has been well discussed. But with the plan to move to Gotchi chain, fees and channeling will be minimal. It's a prop from Quincy, and the majority here are voting no. I'll keep an eye on the chat. If you have any specific concerns related to this proposal, I'll keep an eye on the chat there. All right. Moving on to the presentations. Gotchanomics. Do we have Gotchanomics in the house? Let's get you up on stage, sir. Welcome,
GM.
welcome, GM.
Hey.
Can you hear me, guys?
Yeah, you sound great.
Good.
Well, congratulations on the success of your Gotchi Miners event that you recently had. It sounds like it was a huge hit. And
Thank you.
You know, I've seen how hard you've worked. You know, I remember reaching out to you like early on when you first made this during the game jam and doing a little like YouTube video on how to play Gotchi Miner. So you've come such a long way since then, and yeah, kind of just looking forward to seeing or hearing your thoughts today, this morning, on how you think it went and what your kind of vision is moving forward.
All right. So thank you very much. Yeah, I remember those days where we had this client-sided demo of the game concept basically, but yeah, it has been a long way since then, and we have been kept developing what we believe were the basic principles that like a Aavegotchi game should have in the future if it is meant to be supported as something that is challenging and yet can be used to distribute rewards, so secured. So yeah, I mean, initially we thought we could make it in a few months, but it was not the case. I mean, like the architecture that we chose to implement, and as well as all the different parts of the whole thing are far more challenging than we initially anticipated. But it worked out at the end. So after all this time, we can launch an event, and it seemed like people were pretty happy with giving really good feedback and also a lot of suggestions and ideas on how to make it even more fun. So yeah, we are very, very proud of what we have achieved so far. I I can share some stats from the event here in the chat. For
Yeah,
example,
that would be great.
here is the daily the bandwidth. Maybe that's not the most relevant, but this one is the daily active users that we had. So picking at the beginning with 700 unique active users, and on average around 600. And we had also checking the location of the different users. A lot of people from US, but also Asia, Philippines, and some European countries like Netherlands, Germany, France. So overall, we had like also people coming back to us with the feedback forms. 74 people sent information, and when we I can maybe check the customer satisfaction. the the average score when we average all the points that people gave a score from 5 to 1. I think the average was 4.3. So overall, also quite happy with that. I can take a screenshot from here. The responses.
This is all looking good so far. Like, I mean, even the daily active users you maintained, it looks like almost like a steady 500 at least day, which is awesome.
Yeah. No, it was at the beginning. Also, we underestimated the load of the Gochigan because we had one of the nodes that were running locally, and we supplied to the clusters that were outsourced. But yeah, it was too much bandwidth pulling through, so we had to move everything to the cloud on the fly. But after I think the first 3-4 hours that we launched the event, then everything went pretty smooth. Sometimes people, well, at the beginning also people had some issues when some player dropped loading the assets and will not play anymore. Then the rest of the lobby will have to refresh the page and start over. But we fixed that issue also in the first days, and we patched very like tiny things, but there was no major trouble that we went through. So again, overall, and it was pretty good.
This is awesome.
Yeah. So that's why we have been like thinking about it. What shall we do now? Because with our current work, is just not possible for us to get any funding due to our employer restrictions. So either we continue like running events, paying for the infrastructure, basically losing the money of having to do these things and like sending rewards away just for the fun of it. But I mean, there's so many things that we want to do and so much potential that we see if we really put the time and effort onto making this better. That we, as we shared a couple of days ago, we are really seriously thinking on going the full time dedication to this, which could mean like we would quit our permanent jobs and go all in to game development. So we need to be 100% sure, and we are now we wanted to check the water with the community if the community felt that there is a need for this or not. Seems like the feedback also in the DAO forum it has been quite positive. So next step during this week, we will try to find legal arrangements. We want to be 100% sure that we are not going to lose money with this. So we are aiming at least to have the same conditions that we have now, but like the focus is into this direction. And it's a bit scary, all the legal financial stuff because of taxes on crypto and like payroll taxes, establishing a company, and everything has to be like 100% like a closed loop strong. So that's why how much runaway? Yeah, that's a good question. That's a thing we need to find out this week. We already made an appointment with a legal.
So yeah, I see
with a
Coder
legal.
Dan here is just saying how much of the runway would the 300K allow for the team?
Yeah, it really depends on the tax, like the taxes that apply for the grant. So, for example, we were reading that potentially 25% of the whole funding could go away to pay the government tax, because if it's not recognized as a currency, then the moment that you convert it from crypto to fiat, then you have to declare it as a profit, and then therefore it has a 25% cutoff, which could be really big. Yeah, we will be funding on a LLC somehow.
Well, like you said, I think you're thinking on the right mindset of finding some professional help that'll be able to provide guidance
No,
in that
definitely,
sense.
definitely.
Hmm. I
So
know
depending
T-Bird
on
also has a
the
good idea here, saying maybe perhaps check out Opolis as part of your research as well, because Opolis is a Web3 enabled. We actually met them at Denver, and they handle kind of like that sort of thing with payroll and taxes. Maybe not so much legal incorporation, but yeah.
I mean, we are based in the Netherlands, so I don't know if this applies, but we can definitely reach out.
Yeah, just our friends here giving you some, I guess not direct advice, but just things to look at for sure. There's many avenues, and so in regards to like future features of the game, like in theory, if the DAO was to give you funding to establish essentially a game studio, what are some of the things that you might want to build moving forward, specifically with Gotchi Miner? We got Gotchi Chain coming out, which is really exciting. I think Gotchi Miner could be a great addition, on the launch. But in addition to that, what sort of like game features do you have in mind going above and beyond, that people are going to get really excited about, without leaking too much alpha, of course, but just to give people an idea of what they could expect?
Yeah, we actually were preparing some assets, but we didn't manage to get it on time due to health issues with one of our team members. But basically, what we want to propose is a solid roadmap with the deliverables every quarter on the stuff we would like to introduce, and then also openly discuss the monetization of this, because at the beginning we want to include more features for the game and keep on like running events that are fun for the community, but towards the end of the 1 year of this development time, we also wanted to introduce somehow a way to get monetized from this game, and therefore our way that we wanted to like pay back to the DAO to some extent would be like a percentage of the rewards go to the DAO, percentage goes to Pixelcraft, a percentage goes to us. So we have to just run the numbers on, because we have some ideas on how to make it work, but we just need to run the numbers before presenting the solid proposal to either vote yes or no. But again, everything, like, if we do not have the legal arrangements in place, we will not be able to go any forward. So at the moment, we wanted to touch base with community and figure out everything on our side as well as we could, and from there we could go forward with more details. Maybe I can share something, or maybe I shouldn't. I don't know.
Oh, please do share. I mean, it's up to you, but I think it would be good to give people an idea of what this project would look like, moving forward, because it is a large amount of money, to establish a game studio. It can be an expensive endeavor, and so on the DAO side of things, I think a lot of people would just want to know, uh, what sort of features would be added in addition to what already is there, plus maybe ways you might see this could make money. Like what would be the return on the invested capital if we were looking at the 300K as invested capital? What would be the return on that over a period of time? You know what I mean?
Yeah, that really depends on the numbers of the monetization system we introduce.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I just drop there,
Nice.
like kind of split what we had in mind. So going from more maps to introducing new fun features like underground puzzles that can be like a vault that you have to use a combination of bombs to go through to collect the crystals that are in the middle or inside, hidden somewhere. So that adds like a new layer of gameplay to the just going down and deeper, which could be fun. And then make a sponsor event with prizes. Could be either ATF, could be either ourselves or anybody that would like to like sponsor the leaderboard rewards. And then we could do a Halloween special with changing a bit the maps to make it more spooky. And then from there, once the guild's API that Yannick is working on is integrated, we can also integrate into the game and make maybe an event where guilds will somehow fight each other to see who gets the best score, either combined or average, or we'll have to find a way. But it would be a nice way to try to like see the communities fighting for the best spot. Then we could create another sponsor event, and towards the end of the year, we would like to prioritize to go for a mobile app, because as Cotterdown points out, indeed, it is like key if we want to monetize it to have
Yep.
this step on the way.
I agree.
And with that, if everything goes all right, the Gochi chain is available for external integrations, we would love to look into that direction and put it all together. So before we go any further with monetization, we are hooked to the Gochi chain to attach the game to the whole system. And then towards Christmas, we can also make a Christmas special, change all the maps to make something nice. And after that, or I mean, right before that, we could also create another annual mining location. For quarter 1, we could make team fights, like there would be 2 scores in the game, and then you play 2 against 2 or 3 against 3 to see who gets the better score. Also another sponsor event, and then introduce wearable effects prior to another mining guild war for the guilds to fight each other. And the new feature that we really like to introduce in that quarter is the underground liquidators. So you could go underground. Eventually, there will be a gap where the liquidators are, and you have to fight them to continue going down. And we could make several layers that you can have this challenge. And going to Q4, we would like to see, if possible, within Gochi chain to also implement alchemical glitter for a small boost that is not too much in the pay to win side, but that allows you to somehow spend alchemica in the game for either like a cosmetic upgrade or something that could be you a small advantage.
Aavegotchi has a good idea here. He's saying maybe some tournaments with an entry fee, and the winner takes 90%, then maybe 10% goes to devs, or maybe there's some sort of a split in there for the DAO also. That would be interesting.
Yeah, that's also there, like the private rooms with poker rewards kind of thing. So what we are discussing is to have some like you can create a room and then you say I want to fight with 5 people for up to 1 ghost, and if you're subscribed, like I'm waiting for players with my same reward, then you can just join, and then the players that are willing to bet that amount of money, they will join on a fight for that amount of money if they are available. And the same could be for like, okay, I'm let's make a room for 100 ghosts, like try to find other people, and then you fight for 75% of the reward, and the 25 remaining, or something like that. We have to find the percentage. We can split it into like mostly player rewards, and then some part for DAO, Pixelcraft, and us
Yeah,
to maintain
awesome.
the infrastructure.
Yeah, no, this is you put some thought into this. I think we should follow along. At this point, what would you like from the DAO? Just some more community feedback. It seems like this is in the early ideation phase, right?
Yeah, definitely. No, I mean, we wanted to hear how the DAO will feel about that. This will be like the money to fund us through 1 year, with packed with a lot of stuff happening. And besides Gotchi Minor, we wanted to propose to start a second game, and based also in the DAO input. So here are the proposals, develop some very basic demonstration, like something client-sided that can be developed in a week or so. And then from there, we could develop a game that is at the level of stress test by the end of the year. So that would cover the fee of the studio to have full dedication on developing content for the Aavegotchi protocol.
Awesome. So do you have a thread that people can follow? Is that in the main DAO forum
Sure.
here or discourse?
Yeah, in the DAO forum, we open also a thread into the Discord threads. But
Okay.
I guess most of the feedback is coming in the DAO forum. So if anybody has suggestion, ideas, questions, please let us know. And as soon as we clarify also financial, legal stuff on our side, we will let you guys know more information about the whole plan before moving to any SIG prop stage.
Awesome. Yeah, I really appreciate all the hard work, everything you've done so far. Really impressed with the game.
Thank
We'll
you.
follow your journey here and keep us posted.
Sure. Thank you very much.
Absolutely. All right. I think we should just quickly move on here to just a quick little conversation. Something I wanted to get a feel for here is just some proposal inconsistencies I've seen, and just to clarify a few things. One of them being the amount of time. Like I've noticed with a lot of the SIG props lately, the days, the length of days for the proposal varies. Like some people have done 5 days. I recently saw one that was like 3 days. Some of them are a little bit longer. They're like 8 days. And so, do we have a set standard of days? I know for core prop it's 7 days. Is it also 7 days for sig prop?
There's really no set amount of days, I think,
Okay.
but it's really since it's not that hard to meet quorum these days. Like if as long as the Gotchi Vault votes on it, and other participants also vote on it, generally we meet quorum. But I would definitely recommend it's best if people don't do like 3-day proposals, unless it's like an emergency that just needs to get through for some reason. 5 to 7 seems pretty good to me.
Yeah.
Core props can actually they could be 3 days, but generally they're also 7 days.
Yeah, I was gonna say 7 days, like what Dr. Wagme's saying there. 7 days kind of just feels like the standard, but I was just caught off guard this week looking through the proposals, noticing that some were 5, some were, a little bit longer, some were 3. So I'm not gonna point out specific proposals, but just something I noticed there. And so another thing I want to just point out for anybody who's never posted a proposal or it's their first time, make sure you're posting as weighted voting. So when you go, let me share my screen here real quick. Hang on. So when you go here to your proposal, go new proposal. And you're moving through. When you go here, make sure weighted voting. It's at the bottom, so sometimes I don't think people are looking, but it's all the way at the bottom. Weighted voting. You want to make sure you do that. I think that's a change we implemented a little while back, but that, and then also there's something I wanted to point out. So I guess it's not set in stone that it has to be 7 days, but it would be kind of nice if everybody stuck to somewhat of a standard for that. That's all I had regarding that, but let me just check my notes. Also, if the Gotchi Vault can confirm, is the Gotchi Vault now posting all of their own sig props?
Automated now, from what I've seen.
Oh, very cool. Awesome.
But yeah, Vault can confirm that.
Okay, cool. Next up, confirms, but yeah, that would be great. Next up, we have Senate and Thrive Giraffe. I'll get that as one to request. Get you up here. GM.
GM, can you hear me okay?
Oh, yeah.
Nice.
Let me see here. Okay. Oh, I see Senate. You can, yeah, I'll get you up here as well. Cool. Well, welcome up, fellas. I'm excited to go through this with you guys. And so I guess what we'll be doing today is we'll be going through your Thank Aavegotchi proposal, Signal proposal before we actually post it, right? I don't think it's gone live yet.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
Correct.
We'll be posting it soon.
Okay, awesome. So I think, yeah, sorry. I was just gonna say, I think we'll go through the proposal. We'll do a little review, and if anybody in the audience has specific questions here, I think we'd love to address it. So
cool. Thanks for giving us some time up here too. We really appreciate it.
Absolutely.
Great. So first, my name is Daniel, and super happy to be here. I'm really excited to spend some time with everybody. Very simple agenda for the next 20 minutes or so. I want to start by telling you a little bit about ThriveCoin and our background, and then we'll walk through the Aavegotchi proposal that we have up right now in your discourse, and then hopefully we'll have a little bit of time for Q&A. If you've got questions and we don't have time for you, there are lots of ways in which you can get to us. Just reach out to me if you have any questions, or in forums, you'll see the ThriveCoin channel, and you can ask any questions there. Or we've been doing an hour a week with the community, and we've had some great attendance on community calls. So if you want to jump on one of those calls and ask a question, that'd be a great place as well. So maybe for a couple minutes of background on ThriveCoin. So we have a really big vision. We believe in a world where real equity is possible, or it doesn't matter who you are, where you are, what your background is. If you create value for your community, you should be rewarded proportionate to the value you create. And we think this vision is like super aligned with Aavegotchi's desire to create kind of a world where true asset ownership is possible. And the problem is in the DAO space right now, it's really, really hard to reward and recognize the vast majority of community members for the vast majority of contributions that you make to the community. And the reason is a technology issue. How do you reward a distributed, decentralized, largely anonymous group of people? How do you reward people who are contributing in different ways across Web3 platforms, Web2 platforms, discourse is Web2, Discord is Web2, Twitter is Web2, IRL. And that was the problem we set out to solve. So we built something called the Thrive protocol. And the Thrive protocol literally auto-validates any of theoretically millions of ways in which you can contribute to the DAO. Practically, it's like hundreds or thousands of ways. We then can auto-reward you with any native token of Aavegotchi. And then we also auto-record receipts on chain. They look like thank you notes. We literally thank you for every contribution that you make. And the impact of that is that we believe strongly that if people are actually rewarded and recognized, we call it thanked for the contributions that you make, that you're going to create more efficiency. You're going to create more value. You're going to create more utility and fun for the DAO. And, you know, just a little bit of background, we built for 15 months without telling anybody, basically, and then launched with Bankless DAO in October, and the results were crazy. In a world where less than 1% of people are rewarded, in Bankless at this point, 87% of active contributors are rewarded for the contributions that they make across platforms. In, you know, a world where contributions to DAOs tend to be going down, Bankless DAO has like 182% increase, some crazy number like that. In a world where the top contributors are doing less because they're pretty burnt out, Bankless DAO increased by like 40-something% the contributions of top contributors. And the impact of that was a couple months after that, we started working with ApeCoin, which is the second largest DAO in the world, I think. We got one of the biggest grants in DAO history from them. And then we went to ETH Denver, and we hooked up with the Aavegotchi team, and we were like blown away. I mean, the culture of Aavegotchi is so cool, and the people are so nice, and there was so much vision and values alignment. And we said, oh my gosh, how do we figure out how to partner and do something that is really special for Aavegotchi? And so we've been working with basically, you know, as many members of the Aavegotchi community as have been willing to spend time with us, which is a lot, which is like, I don't know, 30, 40, 50 on some calls. And the proposal that I'm going to go over with you now is really a reflection of the excitement and the desires and sort of the innovation of the community. So I'm going to share my screen right now. Let's see if all of this works. You should be seeing the Thank Aavegotchi proposal come up. Can everybody see this?
It's up for me now. I can see it. The audience.
Okay.
Yep. All right.
So I promise to not read and really to speak from my heart as much as possible. This proposal by just going to discord.aavegotchi.com. So the proposal is automated on-chain rewards. And you'll notice it doesn't say for Aavegotchi DAO contributions. It specifically says for Aavegotchi DAO contributions. One of the really cool things about the way our protocol works is we only reward value creating contributions, and that's as decided by the community. You'll notice, and I just want to call out some of the people, and I really mean just some of the people who have proposal, you know, from Dr. Wagme to Thrax to Diddley to, you know, Z-Fi, the list goes on and on and on. So the summary is, you know, pretty simple, which is Aavegotchi DAO members, you guys do all kinds of amazing things to provide support to the community, from like attending this call, to speaking in this call, to, you know, stuff that you do IRL, to stuff that you do in game. snapshot votes. The list goes on and on. And the hypothesis is you could provide even more and better support if you're actively thanked, actively rewarded and recognized for all of your valuable contributions to the DAO. And there are two ways in which we can thank you. The first is with Ghost, or frankly, any native token of Aavegotchi, and also with an on-chain thank you note. Again, we literally thank you for every single contribution that you make. So what we're proposing is a 6-month pilot where we thank you for the contributions that you make to the DAO, and where together we see what the impact that will create for this community is. And again, we believe that the impact is going to be real equity. It's going to be more value, more utility, more efficiency, and ultimately more fun. So in the rationale section of the proposal, first we just talk about the deep alignment that we believe Aavegotchi and Thrivecoin have with each other. It wants to enable true asset ownership. It's not just exciting, but it's real, and it is threaded through everything that you do. And so we believe that we can take sort of that same intentionality, and we can just get even bigger, even better. So what you see here are some sample contributions that we can reward. This is a hard slide to put together because we can literally reward almost anything that you find valuable and do it in an automated way. But 6 examples that these are all community sourced examples. So offering consistent, valuable feedback on proposals, high quality feedback and thoughtful engagement in Discord, maintaining external websites or onboarding tools, engaging in different ways with the weekly newsletter, or in Twitter Spaces, or in Discord Hangouts like we're doing right now, leaderboard competitions, Alchemica competitions, rarity farming, leveling up your gotchi. I mean, again, this is 6, and you can multiply it by many, many more. And the one other thing that I want to bring your attention to here is where it says bot detection and bad actor detection. So we have 5 layers. We even put in the proposal right over here of bot and bad actor protection, that even at scale, even in really communities, we haven't seen, knock on wood, bots. Because just as one of the layers of protection is that we, when we are deciding what the validation mechanisms are, so how we validate a reward, there is validation that's both known by the community and validation that's unknown. And so if you have to build a bot to address unknown validation criteria, it's almost impossible. Let's say somebody did it, we can actually then change the criteria in seconds. I already told you a little bit about sort of the Bankless DAO case study. I guess you can see it here. The way in which we get going, and this is really important, is that when we work with the community board, and the advisory board is trusted members of the community who have essentially 3 jobs. The first job is to choose the ways in which you contribute that are valuable, that should be rewarded. The second is to choose the validation criteria. And the third is to look at effectively data and listen to the community and adjust rewards and adjust even contribution types based on the feedback that they're getting from the community. And so in Aavegotchi calls, what we learned was that you guys wanted to put together your board in a really unique way. We've never done this with the community before, but we're really excited to do it with you, which is that you wanted the board to represent effectively 6 pillars and an at-large pillar in the community. So there will be 1 person from each of these pillars on the board at any given time. So the pillars are protocol builders, non-protocol builders, liquidity and treasury support, artists, highly engaged non-core members, and community and media support. And then of course, 1 at-large member. And the way in which people will be chosen is that in that kind of Thrivecoin Aavegotchi Discord call, we will do a vote after hopefully the SIG prop passes. And then every 6 months, the community will have the opportunity to elect a new person connected to this pillar. And this is really to ensure that when contribution types are chosen, when rewards are chosen, it's really reflecting the values and the desire of the community as a whole. Maybe the one thing that I didn't tell you about the Thrive Coin team is that, you know, we are a group of people who know and love each other and have worked together for years. We have scaled products and protocols to support millions of users. We are both native in Web3 and have lots of experience in Web3. For example, our CTO was a number of significant stable coins. Our head of blockchain was VP of engineering at Bitfinex, and on. But we also have enterprise experience. Like in the last organization that I founded and we scaled, we supported everybody from like Google to Microsoft, Oracle, Cisco, Citibank, organizations like that. So we have a team who has kind of been there and done this and scaled stuff. Timeline, yeah, we're like in it. So lots and lots of feedback, like massive amounts of feedback. You know, we're gonna put this up for vote. Hopefully immediately we can begin rewarding optimal contributions for ourselves. So you'll see on a monthly basis, 10% increase in contributions. You should see more and more value happening. And here's the reality. That 10% we should be hitting out of the park. Like it shouldn't even be close. And we'll see how we do. These are some of the platforms that we support. It's worthwhile to note that we support hundreds of contributions in many cases per platform and many dozens of platforms. We believe we support over 60% of Web3 activity at this point, and within 6 or 9 months, we hope to support over 90% of Web3 activities. So contributions that you make on Discord, Twitter, Gitcoin, it doesn't matter, right? Mirror, any of the native that you've built will reward all of it. I talked with you earlier about kind of how, we also sort of built the proposal so that it's relatively risk-free for you. So it's a pilot, and the rewards are performance-based. People have to perform, like people have to create, engage in value-creating activity to be rewarded. That's how they, and ThriveCoin has to perform on our side. And so this is sort of the way we think about payment, which is based up to 15,000 a month, based on you know, the activity of the community, and up to 3,000 goes a month. Goes without saying that the infrastructure that we built, this is infrastructure that costs millions of dollars and to do it. So this is really special stuff. We also have this alternative, which is kind of fun, which is if you want the desired amounts to exist in, you know, other native Aavegotchi tokens, let's play. We're really big experimenters. That's the only way it works, and sometimes, you know, we learn. Either way, we win. So here's some of the ones for ThriveCoin. And look, the final thoughts that I have are we believe that we believe in the same thing. You know, we have this shared vision of a world where real equity is possible, where, you know, you should have true asset ownership for the contributions that you make to the DAO. And, you know, we've built some technology that helps enable that, but we need a community, right? That technology needs to be paired with this extraordinary community to make it happen. And we're so excited to hopefully engage in this pilot with you. So grateful for the partnership with the community. And I would love to answer, with whatever time, would love to answer any quick questions.
Oh,
yeah,
for sure. Yeah. Well put together there, concise, and covered a lot of information there, and I got the link also posted in the chat for anybody who wants to go back and look at some more of those details that you went over. We got a couple questions from the audience I'll field here. First one from Dr. Wagme. Can you speak to 6 months versus 3 months as a trial period? And I kind of agree with him here. 6 months is a very long time in the crypto world. It seems like a year is like a millennium sometimes. But yeah, can you speak to the length of the trial period, 6 months versus 3 months?
Yeah, I mean, the way that we originally thought of it was 3 and 3. And then we decided to break it up into monthly. And remember, it's performance-based, right? So what we've noticed is that there's a lot that we can do on a monthly basis to build to the next level. And so if we are kind of in the midst of building and growing and 3 months later have to go through, because we take the proposal process really seriously, right? Another proposal process, that's fine. And if the community prefers it, then we'll do it. But 6 months has been, an amount of time that we feel we can kind of engage with and create not just some value, but extraordinary value with the community. And we pair that with this performance-based model, which means that technically, the community could kind of cut things off if they decided after 3 months that we're not working in a way that is aligned with, with the desires of Aavegotchi. Highly doubt that'll happen given our collaborative nature, but that's the way we think about it.
Okay, understood. That makes sense there. Next question here is from Mikey J. I'm just going to read his question here. I'd like to know the rationale behind the amount to fund the program. In 80,000 or 80K seems like a lot to pay out for a 6-month period for micro contributions. Considering the size of the potential contributor pool, it feels high to me. And then he has an example down here. Also need to consider the cost of running a program like this without the automation, and also looking at that, he's just looking at that fee as well. And then last point he makes here, our core props are average around 1,500 voters, and voting is a minimum baseline activity for DAO engagement. So 1,500 contributors actively participating in this program is a good start for an estimate. And then he's just saying, assuming, around $50 per contributor. And then to clarify at the end there, I like the concept of the program though. Seems like a good way to tease out more engagement in the DAO. Expanding the contributor pool is sorely needed.
Right. Okay, great. So I'm gonna try to answer everything, and Mikey J, please let me know if I don't get to everything. I'm not gonna go exactly in order because I think I want to start with, I think, the most salient kind of piece and then go on. So people deserve to be paid for the work that they do. Whether that is at Google or whether that's in Aavegotchi DAO, right? Can you imagine if engineers at Google who work on their search engine algorithm weren't paid for the work that they do? How good would that algorithm be? Probably not very good, right? And it's the same at Aavegotchi DAO. It's the same in the DAO ecosystem as a whole, which is if we really want to create maximum efficiency, utility, and value, if we want to make this community as big and as special as possible, we have to figure out how to appropriately incentivize people for the contributions that they make to the community. And so then you say, well, what is our community worth? Like, how valuable is it? If we are appropriately incentivizing people in the aggregate across the community for contributions that can really create value, should we be incentivizing them with 1,000 ghosts? Is that what it is? Again, making a comparison to like the centralized world, I think is helpful, right? Like if a business like Google has the equivalent of a treasury, or let's say you're a startup and you just got $4 million in financing. How do you want to use that $4 million in financing? Do you want to kind of hold on to it and, basically get a bunch of employees who are volunteers and hope that those volunteers kind of do enough work to make the startup that you're trying to build valuable? Or do you go, gosh, we've got a really big vision and we have the opportunity together as a community, as a team, to see that vision into the world. And let's make sure to incentivize people for doing that, because we believe strongly that when we do, we'll create an amazing amount of value for everyone. It's the same thing with ThriveCoin and what we're trying to do. The reason that we ask for an amount of funding that, like over the course of 6 months, allow that's whatever it is, 80,000 ghosts. That's an amount that we believe will allow the community to look out and go, oh my gosh, here's what happened when we were finally, across the board incentivized for value creating contributions. We created immense value at a level that was fundamentally distinct from what existed before. That's the pilot. That's the hypothesis that we're running. And we believe strongly, based on data, that that's the impact that together we will be able to create. So that's why we ask for, around 80 something thousand ghosts that are distributed to the community. When, you do some math on 1,500 voters and $50 over a couple months per contributor. Sorry, I've got my 5-year-old up here with me. This is chocolate.
Chocolate, because I smelled it.
You smelled it.
It was chocolate.
Okay.
Yummy.
Sorry, everybody. It's a Sunday morning at the Daniel household.
Got me thinking about chocolate now.
There you go. So my feedback is that Aavegotchi community members over the course of the next couple months are going to engage in, in the aggregate, a lot more than $50 worth of value that they create for the community. And the act of being rewarded with whatever it is, $50 worth of ghost or 5 or 200, it doesn't matter. The act of being rewarded for the value that you create is going to inspire you to take things to another level.
I have a question about how you would value the contributions. Is this something that we would set up? So like, for example, one of the examples here was offering consistent, valuable feedback on Aavegotchi proposals. That would we essentially set a fixed, like, flat amount for each reply on a forum post or something, and every reply would be treated as equal, or like how would that work?
Great.
Obviously not every reply has the same weight or value.
Absolutely. So the way in which reward amounts are set is the Aavegotchi community will elect a board, and then the board will get feedback from the community. We already have weekly calls where we get feedback for an hour each week, but the board will get feedback from the community about what optimal contributions are and what the value of those contributions should be. And then after that's set, they then revise that on a weekly or every other week basis based on data and based on continued feedback from the community. So that's ongoing. And then I want to speak specifically to the example that you gave about not, even if it's the same kind of contribution, not all contributions being equal. By the way, my 1-year-old just came up here too, so now you're hearing one noises. Okay. So remember I talked earlier about validation criteria? Validation criteria is like super important because most communities are worried that, using the example of discourse feedback, most communities are worried that, what happens if somebody says GM exclamation point? That shouldn't be rewarded. Like, that's not valuable feedback. And the answer is we don't reward that. And the reason is that we have clear validation criteria that must be met. An example of validation criteria that the board might implement might be the comment must get 5 likes or more. And one of those likes must come from one of the top 20 contributors. And so that helps to ensure that the actual reply, the actual piece of feedback is considered valuable by the community. And on and on and on. That's just one small example.
And so the board is the one setting those parameters, basically.
That's exactly right. And the board is elected by the community. And Chair, I just want to directly address it. So SourceCred, Chair said this feels like it can be attacked like SourceCred. We absolutely have not been effectively attacked, period. And the reason for that is that we have 5 layers of bot and bad actor protection that make it really, really, really hard for a bad actor to do anything to try to attack us. And I'll just mention them right here. So granular community control over rewarded activities. The system is designed to incentivize specifically concentrated activity within one account. We can flexibly shift validation criteria in alignment with community needs. Again, if somebody were to build a bot, immediately that criteria could be shifted. We also delay the review and reward states. So basically, rewards get distributed at the end of seasons. Typically, seasons are between 1 and 3 months, which provides additional layers of detection in between. And then there are various levels of oversight on top of that. So we built into the architecture from day one the reality that in Web3, if something can be abused, oftentimes somebody will find a way to abuse it. And so we sought to build an architecture that is extraordinarily difficult to abuse.
So you guys actually have human validators looking at all of the comments and things on all the areas that we would want to have monitored and rewarded?
So everything is auto-validated with validation criteria that is known to the community, and then a second level of validation criteria that's unknown to the community, meaning, again, you can't build a bot to address unknown validation criteria. And then on top of it, there is an immense amount of data being collected about the activity that people are engaging in because we put everything on chain. So as an example, we can reward people speaking on stage, just like this, or even attending in Discord. The thing is historically that data just exists in Discord, but what we did is we took that data, or we take all of that data, and we put it all on chain. So when somebody gets rewarded, they're not just rewarded in a vacuum. All the data from that reward exists on chain, exists as a thank you note, and everybody has access to it. So that data, in addition to being visible to the entire community, is reviewed on a weekly basis by the board. Aavegotchi just asked if on-chain data is expensive. It is if it's Ethereum, but we use Polychain, and so gas fees are relatively inexpensive. And I don't know if anybody saw, but one of the leaders at Polygon just wrote a tweet thread detailing Thrivecoin's work. And in that tweet thread, and this was retweeted by Polygon, this was just a couple days ago, in that tweet thread, they specifically stated, which I felt super grateful for, Thrivecoin is an essential component of the DAO stack. And sometime soon you might be hearing about a pretty cool partnership with Polygon.
Awesome. Yeah, I appreciate you guys kind of doing a little bit of a deep dive here and addressing some of the questions in the audience. What I would say is every Monday we also do a session similar to this at, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think it's 9:30 PST and 12:30 Eastern, right?
That's exactly right. Yeah.
So,
Um,
yeah, I'll be live streaming that, and I'll be there tomorrow also hosting that. And so, if you have any more further questions or you want to do a deep dive on specific aspects of the proposal, feel free to come by tomorrow and share your questions. Come up on stage and chat.
Awesome. Yeah, thank you everybody for your questions. These are great questions. I have this desire to literally go through everyone that I'm seeing. But if you have deep questions, like if you want to talk about the psychology of contributions, which this is my background, it's what I've done. I come from the nonprofit world and help support people moving from being armchair activists, basically talking about the causes that they care about, but not doing anything, to deeply engaging those causes. And we work with and use a lot of that psychology. So I can go deep into that foreign gotchi if you want to. But long story short, TLDR, I think we're good.
All right. Sounds good. I appreciate you guys coming up here and sharing this proposal with us this morning.
Yeah, thanks so much. This has been really wonderful. Thank you.
Awesome. All right. So we got upcoming here. Speaking of DAO Stack, we'll be talking about the DAO Manager by DAO Lens and how we can use it to kind of help with our governance, essentially, and some documentation and a few things that we haven't really discussed, but I think the DAO might find valuable. So let's see here. This is Aavegotchi DAO Lens. I'm going to share here right now. So you all should be able to see that. This is DAO Lens. So DAO Lens is a DAO manager that's able to, it's AI enabled, and basically it's a hub for your DAO. So all proposals, documentation, event updates, potential workspaces. They have other modules. Each of these things on the left-hand side here are modules for your DAO manager. And so essentially the goal of this DAO manager is to kind of have a hub where everybody can engage with discussions. They can either write a proposal or see the proposals that are being written or, posted. They can get access to courses, little courses that the DAO could offer, like how to write a proposal, and maybe there's some XP attached, or maybe there's some sort of a reward attached. There is also the ability to store documentation here and have an AI-enabled component towards the documentation and the discussions. And so I don't know if you guys have seen in recent weeks, there have been a ton of AI tools, one of them being basically a document co-pilot where you can talk to the document as if it was a bot and not have to read through everything, get the information that you need. These sorts of things. And so I think it will improve communication within our DAO. So each member that's going to be interacting with DAO Lens is also going to have their own profile. And your profile, you can have multiple communities and DAOs plugged into one profile. So there could be other guilds that are on DAO Lens. There could be other organizations like Gotchi Vault, for example, that could be on DAO Lens. And their announcements and community documents and other relative information, like, for example, snapshots, can all be integrated into this one dashboard. So what I would like to do, I think, starting is maybe we'll head over to Aavegotchi here. And what I could do here is maybe just invite some of the members in the audience. You'll just, actually, what I would recommend is actually going to DAO Lens here. And everyone should just create a profile. You don't have to do it now, but either, you could do it now or on your own time. Create a profile. And once you've created a profile, I'll have the ability to add you to the main Aavegotchi DAO account here, community. And so maybe we'll just walk through some of the features of DAO Lens and why I think it's just a really concise feature for the DAO to use. So we got our proposals here. And here it says Coder Dan's posted all of these, which he hasn't. But I'll talk to them there with the UI and get that fixed. But essentially, it will show you who's posted the proposal, and the details of each proposal as if you would see it on Snapshot. And so you can see here, it has the proposal laid out, and you can also link a discussion, and you can also see the context history. So previous discussions that have led up to this proposal will show on the left-hand side as well. So you can see where it was discussed and for how long, and then when the proposal actually went live. So you can start linking things together. And like I said, it gives you all the details that you need, similar to what you would see in Snapshot. You also to post your own proposals here as well. So that's the proposals tab. I believe they are planning to, they haven't released it in this version yet, but the next version should have their Robin AI Copilot enabled for proposals as well. So you should be able to, ask it, for example, what proposals were posted in the last 2 weeks, and give me a summary. And it should be able to give you a summary of all the proposals that were posted in the last 2 weeks. And you can also flip through here. You can see the active ones. You can see those. You can see any pending proposals. You can see closed. So it gives you everything you need there, and it's nice UI. Next up here is courses. And so I don't have the ability to make courses, but if I had the permission, I would be able to make some courses. Maybe they could be easy onboarding courses. They could be things that we could reward XP or Ghost or whatever, Alchemica, for doing these courses. But there's an area here for educational content. Then you have your documents, and what we should do is definitely have some DAO documents, like we've discussed mission and vision at length. A lot of those ideation documents can go here alongside a final copy once that gets done. Oh, nice. Awesome. Just onboarded some members. But this is where all our documentation for the DAO will live. And I think this will be a good place to keep documentation, because there is I was saying, all of this should be AI enabled. This DAO manager comes with another tool called Robin AI, but they haven't fully released the version. I've just kind of seen like a trial of it, but you should have the ability to talk to these documents as well. Discord events, and so we'll get this hooked up to our Discord here sometime soon, but you should be able to see all the events that are being put up in the DAO or the Aavegotchi Discord. Should show up here. And then this last one is spaces. This is not one I think we'll use immediately, but this is like workspaces. So we have task forces, or more like DAO-centric groups, like an economics task force, for example. They could have their own workspace here, and they can gate and limit how much information they really want to show. All the functions on DAO Lens can be token gated, and there's an extensive amount of features in terms of like gating and permissions that can be given. So also this integrates with discourse, and so we may not need to deprecate our discourse as we were thinking before. We might just be able to integrate it here and have all Discord and discourse discussions aggregated in one place. So I'll show you like this AI tool, which I think is really cool. Maybe I'll show you on the main DAO Lens, the main DAO Lens account. So I could say, like, let's say these are all the forum discussions happening right now. You could say summarize posts from the last 3, or if you could say summarize the last 3 posts, for example. And so they have the Robin AI feature working in the discussions section so far, but they are planning to implement it across all their modules, which will be that'll be really helpful once they do that. It takes a little while. And so this is a GPT-4 powered model, and so it is quite accurate. It just it tends to take a little while. But you can see this could be really helpful for somebody who isn't all that plugged and just wants to get a quick little update. And so it gives you as the last 3 posts in the Ethereum discussion channel, and it gives you a summary of the last 3 posts. Within a couple minutes, I came into the forum here to figure out what were the last 3 posts, what were they talking about, and it gives me a little summary. So it's a really handy little tool to have. And once it, like I said, once it gets implemented across the other modules, it's gonna be. But at this point in time, I think our goal should just be trying to get folks onboarded by creating their own account, and I can invite those people over to the Aavegotchi DAO lens, and we can start experimenting with some of the features here. Claim access links to your Calendly. Whose job is it to maintain this site? So as far as maintaining the site, everything is like automated. So Discourse, Discord, you can integrate the Gnosis Treasury. You can integrate Snapshot. Snapshot has been integrated. So everything is automatically populated here. There's no like manual entry required.
This is seems like this would be a pretty cool synergy with ThriveCoin. We could, if they integrated like DAO Lens, you could send people over and give them Thrive for, signing up, and then once they have like the courses looks pretty cool, you could actually give them points for like taking the course and completing it.
Yeah, and I mean, we could even have rewards for making a really cool course that we can implement on DAO Lens, as well as like documentation.
Yep.
I think could also be really helpful. I also want to show you guys this Robin AI too, because I've showed you a little bit, but really underselling the features of what this can actually do. I think there's up to like 50 prompts. It's just they're in early alpha, and I guess they haven't really implemented it completely on DAO Lens yet. But this is something that is a feature. I've seen it. They've shown it to me. And so let's see if I can get this to work. For some reason. Any of the XYZ addresses, I always find I have trouble getting access to XYZ addresses. But this is the link here. And yeah, to Coder Dan's point, DAO Lens is fully able to integrate with other on-chain systems or even off-chain systems. So there's even a possibility of integrating the XP. And so maybe when you complete a course, you get like 2 XP for your gotchi, and that automatically gets given out. I mean, that could be possible for sure. Yeah, my computer thinks this is a threat, but it's if I turn my VPN off right now, the stream's gonna cut out. So what I would encourage you guys to do is check out the Robin AI link that I just sent you there, and kind of have a look at some of the features of what this can actually do. It's quite extensive. But I think the easiest way for us to really understand of how useful this could be is to just start trying to use it. So I think I could actually I actually have the ability to invite members to Aavegotchi as well. So you will need to create a DAO Lens account first. But once you have done that, I can give you this. this is an invite link to join the Aavegotchi community. And so you can join the community there and be an observer for now, but we can start gaining permissions for specific things over time. What is my more fragment? Yeah, I would say, Mikey J, I feel like this is kind of centralizing all the information, is it not? I mean, this is something that DAO kind of was, it was one of their concerns previously, is that the documentation and the, discussions and snapshot and all of that stuff was on different platforms, but now we can essentially aggregate everything into one. There's even a feature here, like we are talking about Treasury earlier. There's even a feature where we can integrate the DAO Gnosis accounts, all the Gnosis accounts for the Treasury, and Robin AI will actually generate like a whatever time length you specify a Treasury report, so it can tell you, over the last 2 weeks, these were all the transactions. The DAO spent this percentage of the Treasury over the last 2 weeks. And it can give you some like basic Treasury updates if you prompt it. Mikey J, if it's somebody's job to keep it updated with helpful documents and information, it will be used that way. If we just let it sit there idle, it won't be very useful and people won't use it. Yeah. But I also think, like Coder Dan was saying, this could work well with maybe something like Thrivecoin, for example, where we're giving out some sort of a micro incentive or just an incentive for completing some documentation or putting together a useful course. Yeah, I agree with Hardcore to some extent there. Number one complaint about upgrading our DAO's operations has always been too many sites and services. This puts everything in there, and then yeah, you can build your reports natively, so you can actually pull from discussions, and you can make a combined report. You can pull from discussions and the Gnosis data and snapshot proposal data, for example. But I do have a call coming up with the DAO Lens folks sometime this week, so I can give them some of our feedback, and also maybe get them on one of these Sunday calls sometime soon, and have them kind of explain what their vision was for this and some features we should be excited about. But this is just a quick overview. I see we got 7 members signed up, so definitely get up in here. Get your DAO Lens account made and follow that link into the Aavegotchi community. Do we have any specific questions about DAO Lens? I see Mikey J had some good points. A hot curly fry. What happens if the AI pulls or congregates inaccurate data? How would we get these entries edited if we do not have a human editing? So human editing is possible. I mean, what the AI is essentially is a co-pilot. So it's not actually writing, like it's not writing your information out, for example, but it's, like if I go here and I wanted to, like ask it a specific question about, like if I go here, let's clear this out, and I say, tell me 5 interesting facts about Aavegotchi. I don't think it's gonna know, because it's only gonna pull data from the discussions. But I could be wrong here. Let's see if it actually does come up with. But I do think it's limited to just.
How do you get to this part? Where is this integration? This is in the DAO Lens page.
Yeah, this is DAO Lens discussions, and I'm just in one of their channels, and they have the AI tool at the top there. So you can see here, I just asked it, tell me 5 interesting facts about Aavegotchi, and it's saying basically, based on the information provided previously in this forum, I don't have any specific facts or details about Aavegotchi, therefore I'm unable to provide you with 5 facts about Aavegotchi. But for example, if someone did have that in their this content somewhere, it would and pull it for you. If you wanted it summarized, it could do that for you as well. So it is AI is definitely a co-pilot tool. I don't think it's something to completely rely on at this point, but there is a big human component in DAO Lens. And in terms of managing the platform, I'm going to be managing it alongside Coder Dan, who is the admin. But I will just be keeping an eye on the onboarding process, making sure people are actually using it the way it's meant to be used. Let me just read some of the other comments here. This is not associated with Lens.
I'm still waiting for there's still some things that aren't working right. Like the discussions aren't really showing up. We're in the all discussion section.
Let's go back here.
And proposals looks like it's working, I guess. And then events, I'm still unable to get that working in Discord. I'm not sure. Maybe it's not only working for new events. Not really sure. It's got some bugs.
Yeah, definitely. I took some notes during.
They'll smooth those out.
Yeah, absolutely. I took some notes down during the call that we had, and I'm gonna be bringing those forward to them for sure. But it should, did we actually get the discourse integrated as well yet?
No, that's gonna take a little bit longer.
Okay.
Okay. On the list.
Yeah, but once, the Discord should be populating, but I'll ask and see what's up with that.
The Discord, I don't see that either. I don't know where that. It's supposed to be.
Yeah, that's where I actually have to reach out to them and see if there's specific channels I need to integrate instead of just the whole Discord, because we're connected to Discord, but we haven't really imported any channels. I think I remember him showing me a feature I can import specific discussion channels, which would be helpful. But yeah, I'm gonna get together with him on the call on that and get that sorted out. I see my chain. We can assemble every doc we have about Aavegotchi and store it in a vector store. Link it up to a chat bot that anybody can ask anything about Aavegotchi. I mean, the AI bots are really something. GMI has 2 bots right now. We got the Spark bot, which is basically kind of what you're describing there, where you can have, feed it the white paper, feed it the Gotchiverse Bible and all the documents, and you can ask it anything, and it'll know. And then there's also the GMI bot that's more like a creative ideation. But LangChain sounds interesting as well. I'm very open-minded to AI tools and experimentation. Yeah, it's nothing to do with Lens protocol. Choina, I guess as opposed to many other DAOs here at Aavegotchi, we're so tied with the Lens protocol, it's instantly... Yeah, totally. Okay, yeah, this is awesome. I definitely think we should mess around with this more and try and get it so that everybody's happy with interacting here for DAO Rent. But I'm going to touch base with the DAO Lens team and bring forward some of the feedback. I agree with Hardcore's sentiment there as well. Yeah, totally. Okay, let's see what we got left for. I don't think we have a whole lot left. Do we see is Mark or Immaterial in here? I think I'll wait till he's available to discuss his. I don't want to misspeak on it. I don't want to misspeak on his idea of the Gotchi Battler, but definitely check out that thread in the DAO forum. I'll plug it right now. Gotchi Battler by Mark. This is still a fairly new thread, so check it out and provide your feedback, and we'll discuss that next week. Do we have anything else that we want to discuss immediately for this meeting here today? We're at about an hour and 40 minutes. I got nothing else for today. Yeah, I'm gonna actually stop sharing my screen. It's taking bandwidth. Thank you. All right. Well,
I'm curious what's the next steps with the Thrive coin? That they're currently, are they in?
no. So next step with ThriveCoin is tomorrow. I don't know if they're gonna go and post the SIG prop right after this call, or if they're gonna wait till after tomorrow's call. But we're gonna field some questions. Was
Okay.
it 12:30 Eastern tomorrow in the Discord here? There might be an event set up already, actually. Let me see under events. Yeah,
They said
ThriveCoin.
it would require an election, so that sounds a bit like a can of worms. We'll have to have the whoever kind of runs to be part of that. I guess it's like task force, essentially, right?
Yeah, task force kind of deal. We should discuss the way in which we vote for the members, because we should make it fair, but also just make sure we're going about that the right way. And I think their suggestion was we do the vote at the meeting tomorrow, but I'm curious to know if there's other suggestions around selecting the specific members to sit on the advisory committee. Yeah, Thrive Giraffe is here
Yeah,
as
I don't
well.
think we could do the vote.
Yeah, it might be really contentious if we do a vote tomorrow for the specific members. Here, Thrive Giraffe is, get Thrive Giraffe up here. Welcome up, sir.
Hey, how's it going? Yeah, I think that the feedback that we got from the community was it makes sense for us to sort of get past the vote, and then after the vote, we meaning on the proposal, and then once that's clear, then it makes sense to allow the community to sort of elect a person connected to each pillar. And we're agnostic about how the community does that. The feedback that we got in one of the calls was that it maybe makes sense to do that on the Monday, ThriveCoin kind of open office hours meeting. We could also do it on one of these calls as well, but it would happen after. My understanding is that it would happen after the vote.
Yeah, I believe that's kind of one of the things we discussed is a two-part approach. So first part being voting for the ThriveCoin proposal, and then second part being the election of the advisory board.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
So I encourage everybody who's interested in fielding questions tomorrow, or putting forth questions tomorrow, come to the call, the ThriveCoin weekly discussion. I posted there in the stage chat tomorrow. And then shortly after that, I guess after tomorrow's discussion is when you'll post the SIG prop?
Yes, that's
Okay.
Correct.
Okay.
You got it. And please, tons of really good questions in the chat, and just open thoughts. And this is stuff that obviously we've thought deeply about. And so I'm really excited to get deep into it on that call tomorrow. So I hope a lot of you can make it if this is something that's interesting or meaningful to you. The most important thing is we built this to be very flexible to support and address the needs of a community. So there's lots of things that we can do to make sure that it is built to be supportive of exactly what Aavegotchi wants. And we can talk about that tomorrow.
Awesome. I appreciate that. Coder Dan, do we have anything else for today? For this evening or morning?
No, I know Hardcore was a bit bummed that we didn't get to his presentation today. Could we get that on the schedule for next week, if that's okay with him?
Absolutely. I would like to know the frequency. Like I was not aware, so my apologies. I just saw that this morning. But I'm happy to block off 20 minutes if it's weekly or if it's bi-weekly, whatever frequency he would like, and make sure I give him that time.
I think it's a one-time. It sounds like a one-time thing. Just he's going to go over his numbers.
Oh, okay. Yeah, no, I'm happy to do that. That's, again, my apologies, man. Sorry. I just saw that this morning, so I'm happy to do that and give you that time. I see he's typing.
Cool. Yep.
But other than
All
that,
good from our side. We'll get some new.
Mhm.
We'll get some core props out. Probably Monday, Tuesday next week. Kick the week off.
nice. Are we? What's the timeline for these super licks? Is that like a next week thing, or is that going to be still a little longer than that?
We work on a 2-week schedule, so those will be probably the 28th.
Nice. Okay.
I think the contest is slated to start. Is it early May? So we should be
Yeah.
good.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Awesome. Oh, I see T-Bird also posting no MCon this year, but what are we doing instead? Global Taoism. Hardcore. First time I need to educate everyone on what I found. Then I'll make an actual proposal after I have a gauge of people's issues and understanding of the issues. Yeah. Well said. Okay, we'll make sure we block off some time for you next week. Going to Croatia. T-Bird, you sailing to Croatia now? Is that where we're going? The next spot for the ghost ship? All right. Okay, well, this was a great call.
Well, friends,
Yeah,
thanks everyone for coming out.
absolutely. Later, friends.
Later. Have a good Sunday.